Spooky stuff. Tonight we were in a meeting this morning. We laid this stuff out on radio last week, but tonight things really come together at 5 o'clock on the TV show about the manifesto that we talked to you about last week, the Weather Underground manifesto. I have to tell you, as we are looking at this stuff, it is happening fast and furious. The SCC, we told you about an hour ago, the SCC now says because of the financial regulatory bill, they no longer have to answer Freedom of Information Act requests. They're saying that's no longer the law. So the SCC does not have to respond to Freedom of Information Acts. We have been trying to get information from Freddie and Fannie. They no longer have to answer to Freedom of Information Act because they're in transition. Now, that was the stonewalling that we got. Now that the financial regulatory bill has been passed, do they have to ever answer any questions to the press? We have created and allowed a monster to be built, an absolute monster. But they're not done. In Massachusetts, there is now and this is happening in several states, where they are now voting on whether or not to get rid of the Electoral College.
It's been approved. New law intended to bypass the Electoral College system and ensure that the winner of the presidential election is determined by the national popular vote. So apparently all of their electoral votes will just go to the popular winner.
What this will mean is you will never have to campaign in any state that doesn't have a big population. All of the states, the red states now, really, all of the red states are meaningless.
The Electoral College was set up so that the massive states could not dominate the smaller states.
Whatever New York, Florida, California decide will go.
Yeah. Yep.
And don't forget, we haven't seen what the census numbers say.
States in the West like New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, forget it. Forget it. It doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
You don't matter.
Nobody cares. That's what's happening. There's something else that we're working on that is, if it's true, and I think it is, because quite honestly, my gut said this last week, and I misunderstood it, and I thought, no. And something came to my attention early this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh. That's where my gut said it was happening, and I misunderstood. I thought it was in the future. It's already been done, and we are looking into something right now. We have a team working on something today that I may be able to bring to you tomorrow, but I said, you've got to turn this thing upside down every 6 ways. But remember, I have told you that you would wake up one day and your country would no longer be the country that you knew. We're here, gang. We're here. You just haven't, you don't know it yet because they haven't implemented all of the things that they have just passed. There's 5,000 pages of new systems. Those are not the regulations. Those are the new systems in place. Today, Fox News found out about Freedom of Information Act, the SEC. The people that screwed up with Bernie Madoff, they don't have to answer any questions from you ever again. They don't have to answer any question. This giant bureaucracy that has just been giving massive power. One line, they no longer have to answer. And this is because Fox is coming after them with something, and they said Freedom of Information Act. And their response was, not anymore. That's how we know. But most of these things are creating these giant bureaucracies and then leaving it to Cass Sunstein. And Cass Sunstein is our regulatory czar, and he sets them up and shows the regulations. It is. When are we going to stop having the fights on what is happening? When is someone in the media? When is anyone going to wake up that can have the power to do something? Thank God you're awake. Thank God you're awake. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Just remember that. We are living in 1984. 2 plus 2 equals 4. They're also changing. They're also changing the EPA, and they're making it about ecological justice. And part of that is, and this new piece that has come out on regulation, Cass Sunstein, is that you can't do anything if it in any way has a chance of hurting tribes or minority communities. Well, you can make that case on just about anything. In fact, Van Jones was making that case that the white man is intentionally poisoning the people in the communities of color. That's now the directive from the EPA. Ecological justice. Now, I know this sounds bleak, but it's really not. I don't know. Yesterday I told you to read Jeremiah. I don't know if you have. And if you're a praying person at all, please. But I've been reading Jeremiah, and the first 10 chapters, it's fascinating to me because God just keeps saying, go tell the people, wake up, turn to me. There's trouble coming. And trouble's coming from the north, and I'm telling you, wake up, wake them up, turn their faces. And as you read it, he starts to say they just won't turn their faces. They just won't do it. They won't be humbled. They won't be chastised. They won't recognize. They'll say, "Oh yeah, I love God," but they won't do it. And the 11th chapter, he starts saying, they're going to cry out to me, and I'm not going to answer them. I'm not going to hear them. Trouble's coming, and I'm not going to hear them. I don't think we're there, but I think we're rapidly approaching there. I have, for a while now, been praying, Lord, please. I can find hundreds of thousands of people. I can find millions of people that get it. Millions. Please stay your hand. Please give us more time. Help us wake more people up. Please stay your hand. And I know he will. And I know he will be our shelter, and I know he will be our shield. But I believe that we are headed for difficult times, and they are approaching rapidly.